Welcome back to Embodiment and Resourcing. Let us start with our centering. Starting with hands over your lower tummy, and I'm doing it sitting this time. You can do it sitting or standing. Eyes closed is nice, or softly focused. We're doing our 3 centers: inquiry and presence. Tuning in now to your physical level of being. Asking without trying to answer, but just noticing how your body feels right now. Setting aside any judgments. Just noticing what you notice. Allowing the body to move if it wants to move. Even bringing in a spirit of welcoming, welcoming everything that you're noticing. Even if it's something uncomfortable, is it possible to even welcome our discomforts? And then moving hands up to the heart area and tuning into your emotional body, your experience of more subtle energies, feeling tones, pure intense emotions, or even subtle shades. Noticing how emotions are movement, they move. We assign our labels to our emotions. They have meanings and they connect with memories and states. What is it like to just purely experience the emotions in the present moment, letting go of labels? And then moving the hands up to the head, connecting in with the mental body. We assign our head as the place where thoughts happen. I'm not sure, but sometimes I think that my thoughts are also in my hip or my toe. But anyway, just tuning into your mental state. Sometimes it's a thinking space. Sometimes it's just an open listening awareness. Sometimes it's memories. Yeah, and then opening the eyes and letting the arms come down. Letting your awareness expand out from your body, like it's centered here. You've been really tuning in here, but see if you can feel that connection within as you open your eyes and we get ready to move to our next part. So the theme today is how the body can support intense feelings. So we're not going to really call up or evoke really strong emotions or feelings, but we're going to work more with how can our bodies support when we do feel really intense emotions. And just a little reminder, I like to remind myself that even though there's a lot about this practice that we're doing that's calming and helps us to center and regulate and feel peace, part of the purpose of this is to also expand our ability to be present when things are turbulent or more intense. And so we're going to now just work with the body level. So now let's all stand up if you have the room to do that. If you don't, or you want to just sit, try to modify, make it smaller. Whatever I'm doing, just find a way to kind of adapt. Let's start with hands on the hips, feet about shoulder width apart. So one of the important things about body level support for intense feelings is feeling grounded down through the hips, the legs, down into the earth. Having your feet a little further apart gives you a more stable base. I like to feel my feet right down there on the ground. Tune into that. And then putting hands on hips. Let's do some little hip circles. Just turning the hips as if you're turning around a ball in the middle of your belly or your hips. Have your knees a little bit flexed, a little bit bent. And just feel into that. This is just a warm up, a simple warming up, feeling down through the hips, the lower body. Bringing our awareness, our energy down into the body, down to the ground. And you can play with it. You can tip your head if you like. You can let it be very small, but if you want to experiment and bend the knees more, that's totally fine. We've gone in one direction for a little bit. Now let's shift and go in the other direction. You can also play with speed. You can make it be faster, slower. Breathing is a really good thing to do with this. Big, deep breaths. Great. Now let's make it smaller, bringing that circling smaller and smaller, closer to your center. And then just bring your arms down. Let's just do a little bit of shaking, loosening, wiggling. Just a few of those, few moments of that. Because now we're going to move into activating the energy. So I'm going to press against the wall. But first I'm going to turn, face the wall, and I'm going to have my legs a little bit apart. One leg forward, one leg back, knees bent. This is called a lunge. And I'm going to get closer to the wall and put my hands on the wall. With hands on the wall, I'm going to lean in and press out. Lean in and press out. Just a little light leaning in, pressing out. Feel that wall, but also notice down through your legs. Feel nice and stable. Important to feel stable. Now, you might want to watch this part, the next part, and then try it. So I'm going to let my arms, my elbows be bent, pressing against the wall, and I'm going to growl as I push. And I'm going to step back, shake out my arms, take a few deep breaths. So we're calling up that kind of that energy that comes up when we're irritated, angry, frustrated, those kind of feelings. A lot of times what we do when we have those feelings come up is we repress them or we spew, right? We snap at somebody, or we just shut our mouth and don't say anything. So we want to work with how can our body support feeling that energy of irritation, but not spewing it and not repressing it. So let's try it again in a playful way. So we're not really, I'm not angry or irritated. I'm just going to play with that energy. Big breath in, press, and then growl and push. Step back, shake out, take a few deep breaths. Notice how you feel. I feel energized from doing that. So it's interesting to do it when you actually don't feel irritated or angry. What I notice is I just feel energized. But I also feel confident, like my body feels strong and I feel like I'm not hurting myself. So that's why it's nice to practice a little bit, get a little bit more intense, maybe a little bit more intense. Let's do it another time. Get into your stable leg stance, big breath in, and then push and growl. Step back and release. Big breath in. Notice how you feel. And now let's do a kind of a grounding, softening movement to close. Again, my feet are about shoulder width apart. Let's bring the arms up like we're gathering in our energy. We're going to bring it down the middle of the body, all the way down. Release any excess back to the earth. And again, arms come up. Big breath in, and then exhale. Couple more. And then for a closing, let's have one hand over the other hand over the lower belly. Close your eyes and rest here for a few moments, letting go of that little exercise, noticing how your body feels. Letting your mind, your attention stay present in your body and your heart. And then when you're ready, come back together. I'll just say a couple more words about this practice. So the idea of expanding our capacity, that's part of what this is about. So for me, it's important that my practices, as much as I love grounding and being calm and peaceful, I also want to be, I don't want to only use that in my life. So if I start to feel irritated or annoyed, my approach is not, I immediately want to become peaceful, almost as if to avoid the feeling. I actually want to be more capable of feeling the anger, the agitation, whatever that stuff is. And as you notice, we didn't talk at all about the story or the meaning. So a lot of times in life when I'm irritated or angry, it's because of something happening, some interaction that I'm having, something that's going on that's upsetting to me. And then I also have an interpretation about what that means and what I should do or shouldn't do or what they should do. So in this practice, we're just kind of setting aside that content and we're focusing on how can my body support feeling that energy of agitation and anger, right? And so often our default mode is to repress, disconnect, or to lash out, spew it, vent it. And oftentimes neither of those is satisfying. Often it can create more problems in relationships and things. So by practicing this when there really is no trigger, so we're just practicing on the body, feeling that energy, our bodies will remember that. So in the future, when you do get triggered, your body may more easily remember how to ground, how to feel that energy and let it go down into the ground rather than just coming out into the world. So that's our practice for today. Thank you for being here.